Expo that the Peace Community Forest Connection puts on. So today we have the 7th graders, tomorrow we'll have the 6th graders. They come in here like they have bees in their pants. They are so excited. I've been asking them during lunch hour what they're liking best, and it seems they like everything. So apparently we're doing a pretty good job. I have an amazing group of volunteers that come in every year and lead the station, and they go around all the stations, spend about 15 minutes, 20 minutes at each station, ask questions, and do some hands-on activities. All right.
You should do it.
All right, everybody, I'm Liz, and today we're here to have a lot of fun team. Okay, we just don't want to lose anyone. There's bears and stuff out here. Second rule, ask questions.
Basically, I work in streams and rivers. We got a little model here. Floodplain, the stream can meander and weave. The zone is there. The riparian zone is where the majority of wildlife likes to hang out. So those turns are all called meanders. Stream meanders. Oh, got a log going down. All these logs are, the fish like to hang out right behind those. See how it's a little deeper? The water comes over the log and then it likes to scour out. It moves the materials out of the way.
If you spend any time out in the woods, it's important to know the difference between a grizzly bear and a black bear. Brown to blonde, and we've got 2 different colors. The brown bear down there is actually a black bear. And the black color right there is a little more common. They don't have a very distinctive shoulder hump, if you look right here. The face profile is a little bit straighter, kind of just goes straight down, whereas the grizzly bear kind of has a dished nose. The nose and the ears.
So, yep. So he's got big pointy ears. Which one is that?
Black bear.
Black bear, yep.
One with all the animal skins. I can't remember what it was called.
Wildlife.
Yeah, that one.
Okay, and why did you like that the best?
Because of the sand thing that they showed us with the river.
Okay.
Wildlife station.
Okay, and tell me something new that you learned.
Actually, I learned about the difference between black bears and grizzly bears.
Okay, do you remember what the differences are?
Actually, black bears have their skull is like all the way down, unlike the grizzly bear have a indent right there.
Okay, what was your favorite station today?
Right now it's the one where they have the machines that cut down the trees.
Okay, and what did you like best about that?
Watching the machines work and how easily they do things.
In this area that use them, they're called cut to length. They follow a tree and then they can measure it lengthwise, diameter-wise, and then they can specially cut each species or for specialized products.
I like the one where they showed you how you like log the trees and stuff, because we got to climb on the thing, the big machines.
On the machinery.
I agree with
What was your favorite?
My favorite was the tree one because they cut down all the trees and I saw how they did it and everything. And you got to put on the hard hats. It was fun.
1911, so it's 101 years old, and is still doing very active studies and is still a very active station.
And it was the second one established in the United States.
Yes. And if you guys will look here, you'll see very carefully, this is what it was like when they arrived. And this was all they had for headquarters and for cooking. And then look very carefully at this picture. There's a man right here on top. And up until 1934, the way they studied with the wind speeds and everything is somebody climbed this pole every day.
The Forest Service really liked this particular site because it had all of the factors that they wanted to study, the different mix of trees and the ages and all that sort of thing. How to prevent wildfires, how to put them out, and they did their job so well that now we're on the other tack now. Now we're trying to figure out how to stop them from getting so big and so hot.
They awarded him the very first Numbskull Award. And every name on there has done something equally as stupid.
Probably the weather.
Okay, and tell me why.
Because I thought it was really interesting how, like, he showed us a picture of how it was back in 1937, and it's interesting how the forest has grown since then.
Anyway, getting back to my computer, so it's wired, and in this little white ringy thing that looks like a filter housing, that's just to let air through. There's a temperature and humidity sensor. Now you all know what that is.
That tells where the wind is.
It tells which way the wind is blowing and how fast it's blowing. So all right, it's all going into a computer. Yes. You got a question?
No, I was confused.
Oh, okay, okay. Anyway, very simply put, this is what we can get out of it. This is a daily report on average temperature, high temperature, low temperature, high humidity, low humidity. Really groove on these things. Yes? We always do this at 5 o'clock. Look at those thermometers and with the dipstick measure any rain that might have fell. Yes, ma'am? Okay, because by 5 o'clock, the previous 28, every 24 hours, once a day, 5 o'clock. That flat piece of aluminum?
Yeah.
There is an instrument that's measuring incoming solar radiation.
Oh, so it's just taken from the sun?
Yep.
So once that's cut off and the other tree, it would be like you'd have way more solar?
Oh yeah.
Once you cut those ones?
Yeah, once there's no longer any shade, I'm going to be able to see right away, looking at these these printouts, how much of a difference it made in incoming solar.
Is the solar for like the power of it or for like some...
Okay, it's measuring sunlight. What do plants need?
Sunlight.
Sunlight. Oh, that's okay. Are there any more questions? Because she's going to blow that damn foghorn.
Summer is in the dispersed sites, the undeveloped campsites, where people, you know, there's just pull-offs on the side of the road, and you go and you camp. And I'll turn it over to Lori.
My name is Lori, and I am the island ranger. So when you're camping, doing any island camping or lakeshore camping like Bottle Bay, Thule Bay, Teachers Bay, Distillery Bay, or the Upper Lake, you'll see me, you know,
sort of
following rules.
Following rules.
So how many people have seen one of these? How many people have read them? It's going to be a test later. We really hope that everyone reads them and follows, because when they say, well, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to do that, we have to put up like really bright signs.
You want to keep the forest as it is. You have all seen what forest fires do. This is one of the biggest culprits to forest fires around the 4th of July, or even any time. Last summer, they were going off and on by the state of Idaho. You are required, if you're under the age of 18 years of age or younger, to wear one of these at all times on an ATV. Whether
these are good for making framing lumber to build houses. They all make something that go into houses. Douglas fir, white fir, they make this kind of stuff. What about like that tree right behind Dan over there? See that tree? You guys been through tree identification? What's that?
White pine.
You guys, you're from Idaho. What is that?
State
Idaho
tree.
white pine. What about the one right behind Greg?
The cedar one?
Cedar. There you go. Stuff like cedar and white pine, they don't make good framing lumber for houses, but they make other stuff. Cedar's a pretty wood. It's not real strong, but it's real bug resistant. Cedar siding. Make cedar siding. goes up on a house, shakes for a roof, cedar shakes, cedar decking, doesn't rot really. So it depends on what the tree is as to what lumber you make out of it. But it all works for lumber somehow. So after you get the tree to the mill, you cut it up into lumber, in major parts.
Up in lumber, there's certain pieces of the wood that maybe don't make grade or whatever. Anyway, they get cut up, and maybe you have a leftover piece like this that gets thrown away. Some people might use it for firewood. Maybe 30, 40 years ago, they all put it into a big burner and they just burn it to get rid of it. Well, nowadays, the place where I work, we go around to those other mills and we gather these pieces up out of their waste conveyors, and we glue them together and make nice long pieces like this again that can be used in framing a house. So we kind of, in a roundabout way, we do a little bit of recycling.
The woodscrafts over there, because I can learn about what different algaes, like wood is made out of paper, cardboard, everything. Like, heck, it's just amazing.
It is. It's pretty important to our society.
It's fun here.
All right.
Nutrients, water to grow, right? And if they're growing too close together and we have a drought, which we often have droughts out here, then the trees get weakened. And just like when people don't get enough sleep and we're not eating right, our immune defenses are down and we catch colds easy. Okay? So Monica's going to tell you about how we plant some trees.
So after the harvest is done, I'll go in and I'll look at the unit and decide what kind of species am I going to be planting there. Is it dry? Is it on a ridge? What was there prior to the harvest? So we can create these diverse stands where there's not just lodgepole and there's not just ponderosa. This is called a container. This is a 1-year-old tree, and this just happens to be a ponderosa pine tree. And then we also plant what is called bare root, and this is a white. For one, we want to get down to the mineral soil, and two, we want to give these trees the best advantage that we can give them when we get them in the ground, and reducing that competition helps. So then the tree planter will take this tree out of his bag, and the purpose, my purpose, is to make sure that this root, this long straight root, which is the main root, does anybody know what it's called? It's called a tap root. Use the tips to backfill the hole. There's a nicely planted tree.
On those needles. Those lines are actually what we call stomata. Does anybody know what stomata are? Did you learn it in school?
Stomata are little openings that opening and close for the water evaporation.
Very good. It's actually like their breathing apparatus. This is the pores through
like
which
their lungs.
Oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange occurs. So stomata are very important, and it helps them reduce water loss in the summer too by closing their stomata. Anybody know what this is? Occurs high elevations, cold air drainages. This is another true fir. Again, it has rounded, blunt buds, but this is subalpine fir. It likes those cold air pockets, and it succeeds very well and better than other trees where it has heavy snow loads. So, dull green needles again, kind of a pretty green, but they're not shiny. The needles go all the way around, and the needles tend to push upwards. The branches, as Richard always points out to our groups, on true firs, the branches always are flexed upward. And the cones, when they occur on older trees, when you find cones on them from a distance, you can see them, they stand upright on true firs.
Slurry. I'm going to wiggle it back and forth like this, put my fingers underneath, and lift up straight. Feels so special. How's it feel?
Oh, that's good.
Hey, excuse me? Even after it starts to dry, like this one that just...
All right. You want to drip a lot into the pot, otherwise you're going to be really wet. Give it a little shake. If it's not dripping too much, then go ahead and try to dry with it. Press and press and press and press. You got it. Good job. Keep going. You're doing good. Smile. You're on candid camera.
I have seen
I've asked Waylon. I wanted to be number 69, but they would.
They were worried. I think they were worried. The paper making station.
Oh, why was it?
It was interesting because I'd never made paper before.
I made paper.
Oh, good. Are you one of the forestry students?
I am, yeah.
Okay, tell me a little bit about your program.
With a full year program, we start out in regular forestry, and then if you get a C or better, you go into advanced forestry the second semester, and then you go on and go to a forestry contest, which is 30% of your grade, and then it's pretty fun.
What are you up to today? What are you doing here?
I'm helping herd kids.
And how's it going so far?
Well, I really wish I brought my bow whip.
Over there. So the fire triangle has 3 legs to it. It has heat, fuel, and oxygen, right? So a fire has to have all 3 to burn. If you take one of them away, a fire goes out. So to demonstrate that a little bit, if I take this candle and I light the candle, I take the glass and put over it. Which leg of that fire triangle am I taking out?
Oxygen.
Oxygen, right? If I take a match and light that, then I take the squirt bottle with water in it and I squirt the match out. Which leg of that fire triangle did I take out?
Heat.
Took the heat out, right? And bad?
Because it helps return nutrients to the soil sometimes when it kills stuff.
Yes, it
but
does.
it also harms stuff.
So fire can be good. It puts nutrients in the soil. There's some tree species that have to have fire to open their cones. So fire can also be bad. When is it bad? Go ahead.
When it destroys the whole entire forest and
When
stuff.
it destroys the whole forest? How about if it's close to your homes or your community? That's not good.
Depends if it's in a fireplace or something.
That's true. Yeah, if you're sitting next to roasting marshmallows, it's still cool.
I like the fire station because they actually set things on fire.
Okay, would you like to be a fireman or work in the forest like that?
No.
All right. Anything else that you'd like to share?
Oh, it's really fun here. I enjoy being here.